how you can release weight without counting, tracking, or portioning your food. And that was a cycle that I was stuck in for over 20 years, 30-pound weight fluctuations, in and out of dieting. And I realized that the real struggle for me, yes, was releasing the weight that was holding me back from feeling good, feeling a lot of confidence, and also some, physical pains that I was experiencing, but really was this struggle of being on and off that roller coaster. And my mission is to help every woman get off that roller coaster.
So thrilled you're here for this wonderful episode of The Rise today. And we're going to have an amazing guest, the author of a brand new best-selling book that I will introduce to you in just a few minutes. Those of you joining us on YouTube and Spotify and Apple and Instagram and Facebook and all the places, hello, hello. We're thrilled to be with you today so that we can come together, take a deep breath. Let's all do that. Get in the vortex, get in the zone to make this an epic week, an epic day. And I'm so thrilled that we're going to be here together. So today, what we're going to do in this episode is we're going to talk to an amazing author who's just launched her book, because the mission that I'm on, and all of you who've been hanging out and listening to these episodes and training with us know, is to bring entrepreneurship to publishing. That is the moment that we're in. The traditional model of publishing is we launch a book, we do some stuff for 1 to 3 months, and then it sits there on a shelf and does nothing. And that is not okay, not on our watch, not in this world, because we're not just authors, we're thought leaders. Those of you who are thinking about becoming an author, thinking about becoming a thought leader, or already are, I'm so thrilled you're here, because this is where we're going to break it down every single week and make sure that we focus on ROI for our books, and we focus on making an impact and really reaching the people that we're here to serve. So you're going to hear from the amazing Helen Birney here in just a moment. And then I'm going to take you through an exercise so that we can make this an epic week for both book sales, for visibility, for opportunities, remembering that books open 7 different doors. 7 different doors. Right? It's like Harry Potter, magic, right? Books open 7 doors, and we want to be thinking about all 7 doors that books can open, the ones that are important to you, all the time. And every single week asking ourselves, in what way am I going to let this book that I'm either writing, if you're still working on it, I'm working on my new book, so I'm in that camp right now, or a book that you have that you can use to do these strategies. So I'm thrilled that you're following along with this series. I'm thrilled you're going to meet Helen today and hear about her book launch and what she's up to in the world with her movement behind the book. And we've had some great questions on the event coming up in New York City, and we have some virtual events before that. So I'm going to share about all of that after we talk with Helen. But the main event, you need to meet this incredible woman, Miss Helen Birney. I want everyone to give a huge round of applause to Helen and her brand new gorgeous, look at this book. It's so beautiful. And that's because Helen, inside and out, is radiant and vital and helps us all up-level our health in really phenomenal ways that are, my favorite thing, braced in brain science, just like our work here at Thought Leader Academy. So Helen, please come up and let's unmute you and get you here so everyone can meet you if they don't already know you yet.
Awesome. I am here and ready to rumble.
Ready to rumble. I love it. Well, Helen, since the last time we were on Zoom together, you've become a best-selling author. And that is really, really super freaking exciting. And it's been a journey. I've had the privilege of getting to, be alongside you and be here and mentoring around this, not only your book, but your movement growing and scaling in the world. So why don't you tell people who you are, what you do?
Sure. So I am a women's health empowerment and weight release coach. I help women using my proprietary process to lose weight differently. My process is really focused on how you can release weight without counting, tracking, or portioning your food. And that was a cycle that I was stuck in for over 20 years, 30-pound weight fluctuations, in and out of dieting. And I realized that the real struggle for me, yes, was releasing the weight that was holding me back from feeling good, feeling a lot of confidence, and also some, physical pains that I was experiencing, but really was this struggle of being on and off that roller coaster. And my mission is to help every woman get off that roller coaster.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It was one of the best days of my life. I've had a different journey. I didn't know you when I was going
Mhm.
through the beginning of my health transformation, but was in disordered eating for many, many, many years. And the day that I found a system that let me never read another diet book, never read another diet article again, and it's been 25 years almost, has been just glorious and life changing. And so that you bring that to people makes me just kind of well up and want to cry and you do it in such a cool the energetic eating method. So tell us a little bit about why you felt like it needed to be a book, right? You're a coach already,
Yeah.
right? You could keep coaching people and doing your thing. You've developed this proprietary system. You use brain science to help people get off of that really malicious cycle and self-punishing cycle of dieting and starving and all the things and hating ourselves. Thank God. Again, thank you. Let's talk a little bit about why you wanted to have a book behind this mission, and then let's talk about energetic eating.
Sure. Oh gosh, why did I want a book? I always felt like there was a way to be in the world with more impact, more light, being able to share my message with more people. And I felt like it was really hard for me to do that when I was only sharing my message with, my community, with people who were local to me. And one of the reasons I wanted to write the book was so that I could have a larger impact and could really outline my process in addition to telling my story. So rather than telling my story and inviting people to my program and doing the same thing over and over again, I really wanted people to have quick, easy, available access to what I was saying and what I was trying to help them with so that they wouldn't have to hop on a call with me or they wouldn't have to meet me in person or even join my program because my desire to help women goes so far beyond business. It
Yeah.
really goes from my heart. And so I just poured my heart into this book with the hope that other women would be able to have that.
Now, this is something that only people that have done a book know, but cover design, Helen,
Mhm.
can be a journey. Naming our books can be a journey. Like this is where we're talking on the rise about the real deal. Remember, not just the summit. Yay, I'm a best-selling author, but like the journey and the rise to here. So what was the most fun part about writing it? What was the hardest part about writing it or publishing it?
The hardest part about publishing it was choosing the cover. And I think you and other people really know this. I was going back and forth with whether it was appropriate to have my face, my likeness on the cover of a book. Like, who am I? Why do I deserve to be on the front of a book? Why does anybody care about me? I'm not some huge social media influencer. And I realized, well, there were two things. One was I really loved the cover with the text. I thought it was really
Mm-hmm.
like clean lines and beautiful. And so I taped it to a book behind me when I was Zooming. And then I taped a picture of myself on the book behind me when I was Zooming. And there was something that resonated so much with me. And I couldn't figure out what it was until my book launch. And I was able to articulate that for any woman who's ever hidden pictures or ever doubted herself image or worried about the way she was going to look presenting herself in the world, this is for them
Yeah.
because I can see myself. I want to be seen. I want to be heard. And I want anybody who sees this to think, wow, she was able to rise above it and do this without shame or guilt or worrying about it.
Helen, you're living the work. We talk about that so much, right? In Thought Leader Academy and Oracle and everything. You're living the work. That the temptation would be, oh, let me, just put the text on the cover, which it was gorgeous. If you all had seen the other cover, it's stunning. And of course, everyone that, knows you and we were all voting wanted this one because it's your magnetism of the care. You
Yeah.
care, you want to make a connection, you're connecting. So I did just want to have a little, for those of you that are thinking about what's going to be my cover, do I use a photo? Do I not use a photo? There's not a rule, there's not a right way, but I'm so thrilled. Do you feel happy now as you've gotten to live with it for a month or so?
I'm so happy and I'm so proud. And that was the hardest decision I had to make, not the hardest part of writing. Obviously, getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning every day for a year to like put my heart and soul in this and choose what to include in the book and whatnot. That was hard. But when it came to the end, like this was the only thing that didn't pour out of me and felt like the stakes were so high being seen. And
Yeah.
it scared me. This was the scariest out of anything that I
Ah,
did.
right.
Yeah.
Right. What's been the most fun now that you are an author? You have a book. There's people I got the privilege of being at your book launch, your online event, just so fun and joyful and powerful and inspiring. What's been the most fun for you?
The most fun for me would be when I'm talking about my business now and somebody asks me about what I do. I tell them what I do, and then I can say something like, they'll tell me a little bit about themselves and where they're struggling. I say, you know what? I actually talk about that in chapter 7, and I would love to get you a copy of my book so that you can know exactly how to do this. This is where you can get a copy, or hey, I have one, at home. Can I send you a copy? Because the most fun for me is being able to see someone light up when they know there's a solution for them and to be able to provide that to them. And having read the book, I don't know, 100 times before publishing it, I could probably tell you the page number where I could help you in this book. And that to me is really fun.
I'm so grateful to have the real talk, and any of you who are currently writing or you've written a book. It's like, just because I'm in now a new one, Helen, right? I'm on books, and I wrote 4,500 words over the last 3 days. Like, it has been an immersion to get this book done. And it is about 100 times that you end up over and over. By the time you read it, proofread it, work with your editor, think about an audiobook, whatever. So I love you've got it essentially memorized, and you're able to deliver a real solution to people right away by saying, turn to this chapter. It's your mastery,
Yeah.
in your legacy, right? That's what's so powerful, and why people keep writing books and why people keep reading them. So, Helen, anything you want to share about how you're using the book, right? We're in our series on bringing entrepreneurship to publishing, meaning that the traditional publishing model is, and I don't mean as in traditional publishers, I mean, in general, when people launch books, the way that people tend to do it is we launch, we do something for 1 to 3 months, and then we just sit it on a shelf and it's just sitting there doing nothing. And we're, of course, in this community on a mission to change that and have the book continue opening doors for opportunities, for speaking engagements, for attracting ideal dream clients, for serving more people, for all the things, right, that we want to do with our books. So what are the most important doors that you want to have opened with this book?
Yeah, well, one already opened 2 weekends ago. I did what's called a VIP day,
Yeah,
and my intention was to have, I only had space for 8 women, like truly
yeah,
only had space.
yeah.
Every single one of those spaces was filled, and I got to take them through basically like a crash course of energetic eating. And so being able to refer to the book and take people through it and let them know how I can support them in a period of 6 hours,
Mm,
along with a really lovely poolside experience and a catered lunch with the book. I had no idea how it was going to go, but it was incredible. And I want to do that over and over again because it felt
yes.
very aligned with me and what I want to do and the power that I can have with a small group of people in such a tiny amount of time. And without having written the book, I don't think I would have felt as clear as I do about offering something like that. And what do I want? More speaking engagements. I'd love to do a TEDx talk.
Yeah.
My plan is in the next year to reach out to women's groups
Mhm.
specifically, and to, let them know, excuse me, let them know that I wrote this book and that
Yeah.
I'd love to empower them to think about their health differently.
I love this because one of those things was filling live events, right? And you got to have, and you realized how transformational it was for the participants, and that you felt in your mastery. And I know that's happened for me, even though, when I wrote a book about Thought Leader Academy, I mean, I've been coaching this and teaching this for many years, and I felt differently after writing the book about it,
Yeah.
because there's a level of ownership, integration, embodiment, articulation of all the pieces of what we do that is different when we're putting it in this than when we're coaching it, right? So I'm so excited for you, and know that yes, you're next, you get to do TEDx and
Mhm.
more speaking and more of those poolside. I'm imagining now some in like the ski, kind of an après ski instead of going and like, drinking all day or
Yeah.
something that, you're with people like being healthy in that environment. And then it can be by the pool in the summer. And I started getting those visions when you were
Yeah.
talking. So exciting, Helen. And we're overjoyed for you. Tell us about energetic eating a little bit because so many people are still struggling, like in the same way that we're taught a publishing model that's really not
Hmm.
has no longevity. We're also taught eating models that are not sustainable and won't help us have consistent health. So tell us just, I know we got to, everybody, we're going to put the link. You got to read the book to get the whole system. But Helen, tell us a little bit about the philosophy of energetic eating.
Sure. The philosophy is that number one, diets don't work. Diets teach us to follow a system that completely detaches us from the way that foods make us feel. It
Mm.
detaches us from the thoughts that we could have about our bodies that fill us up and nourish us. And that detachment causes us to go into that yo-yo dieting cycle where we see ourselves as unworthy of love or of putting on the clothes or of taking a picture. And
Mhm.
as a result of that, we start digging for a diet to make us feel better. We do the diet. It ultimately sort of expires or you get tired of it and then you come off of it and then you put the weight back on or you start feeling badly about yourself and going into that guilt shame spiral. And so then you get caught up in it again and then you may put weight on again and then you're like looking for the next diet. So energetic eating breaks that cycle by dealing with the thoughts first that you have about yourself that you can take inspired and empowered action when you don't feel terrible about yourself. So how do we rewrite and reframe the thoughts that we've had about ourselves that we've been taught by diet culture over these years so that I can make that decision whether or not I step on the scale that day.
Yes.
I get to do what's good for me, whether or not I need to lose a certain amount of weight and whether or not I even know what that weight is. And that in itself helps you reduce the stress, reduce the pain, reduce the resistance against yourself.
Yeah.
And then you guys have to read the book, but then I take people through the next 5 pillars of my program, which teach you how to listen to
Mhm.
what's best for you instead of looking for that number, but paying attention to the signals that your body is sending you, where you really could use some help that support not just weight release, but also the life that you want to live.
Yes, yes, because your work goes so much beyond. Of course, you can help people release the weight, and if that's part of your health, then you do that, of course, as part of the plan. But you've cured, back pain and being able to play with your children and I mean, you have such an inspiring story of using your own methodology to create really, I mean, some of the things that you've shared with us are like really miraculous. That's where I'm in right now in the download and the science of
Mhm.
miracles than what I'm writing about now. And you've created miracles with this system. That's not just about the releasing and keeping off the weight, but also about vitality and energy and well-being and quality of life. And so everybody, oh great, we've got the link in the chat to Helen's book. So absolutely get this for yourself. If there's health tweaking you're feeling called to, this is such a powerful brain science based and really spiritual system, Helen, that you've created. And also, where else can people find you? What's the best place? Do you like to be contacted on social, or where do you want, in addition to getting the book, where else should we go?
Oh my gosh, we show up in so many places, right? But I would say probably the most direct place for anybody who's on Facebook,
Hmm.
find me on Facebook and message me. I
Great.
love to do that. So that's probably the most direct. But of
Perfect.
course, I am on Instagram. I am on LinkedIn. If you're not on
Yeah.
Facebook, I know that's, hit or miss there. And of course, if you visit my website, cultivatehealthcoaching.com, I'd love for anybody to book a call with me and we can just chat and I can guide you
Yes.
to your chapter in the book.
Yeah, and Helen, you're so generous and so the real deal. So we're ecstatic for you. So excited for this next year to be filled with those really high impact, getting to work with people at these events, TEDx, more speaking, more incredible transformation that you get to do, getting us all out of that really unhelpful, unsustainable cycle and giving us a way to have vibrant health for the rest of our lives. So thank you for being a thought leader in this.
Thank you so much.
So excited, everyone. Isn't that awesome? Let's give Helen some love. Oh my gosh, amazing. And just imagine for those of you watching and listening right now, think about how you will feel. Let's do a little brain science since Helen and I both specialize in that. Think about how it will feel when you have your first or next book come out and you fill an event within the month that it comes out. Like you have your live event with people, if that's on your vision, to do real in-person events with people, that you've filled that group within a month of your book coming out. Like, so great, Helen. Thank you so much. Yes, so good. Awesome. Awesome. So, we're so thrilled to be continuing this series on entrepreneurial publishing. And I want everyone listening to just take a minute and reflect. What did you hear in Helen's path that you want to put on your book vision for your first or next book? Meaning, is it about doing an online launch event where you get to have that moment of mastery and feeling like, wow, I knew my stuff, but now I know it at a whole nother level and feel confident. Maybe it's hosting a poolside event. Maybe it's about having that book ready for the rest of your career when someone reaches out and saying, hey, turn to page 45, because this is exactly what's going to help you take your next step. And having a resource that you can give someone so immediately and so directly, even in a quick DM message, or heck, at this point, Helen, you could automate that, right? Also, and have like, are you this, and just get them to a piece of the book. It's absolutely phenomenal. So in continuing to empower ourselves around the doors that books open. Remember, there's 7 key doors that at least I've discovered and coaching people in the last 20 years in thought leadership. 7 main doors that books open. And if you haven't heard the episode on that, we have a whole episode on it. But, doors like what Helen's talking about, leading and filling live events, attracting your ideal clients, creating the opportunity for strategic partnerships with people that you've admired and respected in your industry, paid speaking engagements, TEDx talks, obviously inspiring and changing lives. That's on everyone's list, right? All of these amazing things and more. That writing, being a topic expert in the media. So I want everybody to keep thinking top of mind, what are the doors that are most exciting to you right now, inspiring to you right now? And then make sure that you are, if you're not already in the Monetize Your Book Club, that you get in there, because then every single month you'll have a strategy to help you open those doors. And so just put club in the comments or the chat if you need the link to that, and to come join us in the club. And also be thinking every week about what I can do this week in order to let my book, either my upcoming book, because you do not have to wait until it's published. Many, many, many of our clients have booked paid speaking, attracted dream clients, and opened those doors while the book is still being written. And if your book is already out, how I'm going to use this book this week, and not just expect it to sit there and do something, but how I'm going to strategically use it. Strategically lose it. Yes. So team, if you could drop the link to the Monetize Your Book Club in the chat, because we have our founders membership open now for about the next month. And you want to be in on the founders open enrollment, because you're going to get not only a whole year of support to monetize the book you plan to write or the book you already have, but you're also going to get our quarterly facilitated networking events and the industry insider panel Tuesday, October 7th in New York City, where we're going to have a speaking agent and a TV booking producer, PR, a big, top book PR person, some other incredible experts sharing all of the inside secrets about what we need to know as thought leaders to make us an irresistible guest, whether it's for a morning show, a top podcast, a paid keynote, a TEDx talk. It changes, right? What those gatekeepers, if you will, are looking for changes. And we're going to have a panel specifically to discuss the right now in 2025 and into 2026. What is it that we get to do as authors and thought leaders so that we are an irresistible choice for those stages and shows? Right. And we can make that bigger impact. So I'm really excited to have all of you there with us for that. And if you don't have a ticket to the big whole New York event, Women Starting Movements, October 7th through 9th, please make sure you get your tickets. There are, I think, 20 spots left. And so make sure you get your ticket right away so that you've got a seat in that room. It's going to be a phenomenal, phenomenal, life-changing 3 days of transformation, where we're going to look at writing, speaking, and scaling our mission, our movements through thought leadership. And what does it take to lead a movement now? And how are we going to use marketing, writing, and speaking to be able to grow and 10x that movement? So it's going to be an incredible, I'm immersed in creating it already, and I'm so excited to be with you there. So we've got the links in the chat, and team, if you'll put those on social as well for those tuning in on our other platforms. And now, before we conclude and get on our way, I want us to talk about the 95-5 rule. Anyone know what that is? You can, if you're in our live audience, you can put it in the chat, 95-5. So a lot of us know the 80-20 rule, which is a wonderful, wonderful paradigm. We've done episodes on it, but we're going to talk about a different one today, the 95-5. And what this is speaking to, the 95-5 rule, is that 95% of success is created in a way that's invisible to the rest of the world. 95% of our success is created in a way that no one will ever see, no one ever thinks is sexy, no one ever thinks is cool. It's doing the reps every single day of the fundamentals that build up to the 5% that everyone sees, when it is like Helen's having now. The book is out. I finally get to show this. But there was the 95% of work Helen did to get up every morning and write, to edit, to revise, to proofread, to pick the cover, to get her mind in the place that she was willing to be this visible, to model that for the people that she's here to serve, for all of us. 95% is the stuff that no one thinks is exciting. It's the next 200 words that you put on the page. It's the speaking outreach that you send when no one writes back. And yet it's the absolute secret sauce to the 5% that everyone's going to go, right? So I want you to think about, what are those fundamentals that you get to really drill into this week? There was a interview around Kobe Bryant, people that, studied his basketball career, and really many think has surpassed Michael Jordan as the GOAT, the greatest of all time in basketball. And when he was at the Olympics, this is the way I heard the story, he would, they'd have a trainer coming at, let's say 6:30 a.m. to work out with him. And he would get there at 4 a.m. and he would do fundamentals for 90 minutes. This is the person who's considered the greatest in the world. And for 90 minutes, he would do the things that they teach middle school boys in practice: dribbling, passing, free throws, shuttle run, fast feet, defense, fundamentals 101, basketball 101. This is an Olympian, greatest of all time NBA player that would go for an earlier practice before the regular training session. And people said, "You're already the best. Why would you do this?" He said, "How do you think I became the best? How do you think I stay the best?" It's because he's willing to do the 95% of the stuff. That's not cool. It's not sexy. It's not him dunking a ball, spinning stuff like the Globetrotters. It's him doing middle school, elementary school, basketball fundamentals 90 minutes before the regular training session begins. That's how you become the GOAT. That's how we become the greatest of all time at being us. And so I want us to think about that today. What does the 95% of stuff that no one's going to celebrate, care, ooh and ah, but it's going to make the moment like Helen's having, like Kobe had, possible? It doesn't happen without the 95%. And all the bros that talk about the 95-5 rule, what they don't talk about, that I'm going to end with today, is the manifestation aspect of this, which is that 95% of a manifestation is already complete before we see physical evidence. Which means that as we sit there and think, oh my God, I'm writing, I'm pitching, I'm doing social media posts, I'm doing emails, I'm trying to grow my list, I'm making a video, nothing's happening, nothing's happening, nothing's happening. Nothing amazing seems like it's happening when Kobe's throwing free throws over and over and over at 4 a.m. But it is. And 95% of the manifestation is going to happen before we get the call to be on the stage or be on the show or launch the book or whatever. So it's really a 95-95. And that really struck me when I was listening to this story about Kobe, which did inspire the heck out of me. It's very humbling to know that the greatest of all time does fundamentals to that extent. So what does that look like for you today? What it looks like for me today is 500 words on my book. I have no time today to do 500 words. I don't. If you looked at my schedule, there's no time. There's none. I'm coaching, I'm facilitating podcasts, meetings, all the things. And I'm picking up my son from football and I'm making dinner and all the things that we do, right? But I'm going to do 500 words because that's the 95% that gets to happen today so that I have this book that I feel called to in my soul, and that is done, and it's done on time. 95% is being a channel while I am coaching. 95% is showing up to, say, listen to the downloads I'm getting, right? That's the new book I'm writing about, the downloads, and actually doing something about the downloads, taking action on the downloads that have come through. So what's your 95%? And knowing and walking in such unequivocal faith that you also know as you take the 95% of actions that is going to create the big wow 5%, that 95% of the manifestation is also being done on your behalf. The universe is meeting you in that work. All right. So let's do it. Let's make this an epic week. I'm so excited that we're all here together. And we will not be on live for next week's episode because there's a group of us that are going to be writing and manifesting and downloading in Sedona on our Thought Leader Adventures. So we'll be back in the live studio audience shortly, and enjoy this next week and make sure to do that 95%. You do that day in, day out, you'll be the GOAT. See you next time. Bye, everybody. I am beyond honored that you choose to spend your precious time here. And I'm guessing that, like me, you believe everyone deserves to rise. So to keep this content absolutely free to absolutely everyone, I'd be so grateful if you'd subscribe to the show and share this episode with a friend. We'll be the rising tide that raises all ships. Thank you, thank you, thank you.